Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Witchy? Mr. McGurven?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, one absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move we excuse the absent council member.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that we excuse Councilmember Witchy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So, first item on the agenda are two proclamations.
Okay, the first proclamation is regarding Safe Boating and Paddling Week. Whereas the city of Renton is bounded by Lake Washington shoreline and encompasses numerous waterways, and whereas a large number of Renton's residents of all ages engage in recreational boating, and whereas on average 700 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., with the vast majority of these accidents caused by human error and poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they had worn their life jackets. And whereas the mission of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Division II, overseeing Renton, is to promote and improve recreational boating safety by teaching boating safety courses and conducting vessel safety checks. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim May 19th through 25th, 2018 to be Safe Boating and Paddling Week in the City of Renton, and I encourage all citizens to dedicate themselves to learning about practicing safe boating, including wearing life jackets. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 21st day of May 2018, and this is signed by Mayor Dennis Law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move the proclamation be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, seconded by Mr. Corman, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It's my pleasure to invite up Mark Teschner, who is the flotilla commander for Renton 0205, and he's brought some friends. If you'd like to come up to the podium, we'd like to present you with a proclamation and then have you say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor.
We have a microphone right there at the podium.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here. And myself, I'm a resident at Lake Sawyer up in Black Diamond. And I've spent quite a few hours working the vessel safety checks down here at Coolin Park in Renton and then also up at Lake Sawyer. And one of the things that we do when we do vessel safety checks is we also recruit. So I'll be leaving this flyer with the mayor, and if you'd like to join the auxiliary, we'd certainly appreciate your involvement if you're interested in boating or you want to pass this on, so I will leave that with you tonight.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay. One of the things that we do when we do vessel safety checks, we bring a form kit like this with us. And what we do is we basically have federal and state guidelines which are auxiliary and Coast Guard sanctioned. And the federal boating safety requirements we hand out for free to each boater, along with a group of state recommendations and rules, which the Department of Fisheries also supports. And at the same time, what we do is we go through a recommended checklist, as shown here, of which I will leave you all a copy. And some of the things that we do is recommend. We don't enforce laws, but we recommend and work with local jurisdictions, displaying numbers, looking at the registration and documentation on boats, because sometimes a boat is not legally registered to another owner, or sometimes it gets abandoned and people have to deal with it. We look at visual distress signals, fire extinguishers. We look for ventilation on boats, especially gasoline boats. Make sure that there's plenty of safety measures taken, and if not, we point things out and recommend fixes and such. One of them is backfire flame control on carburation. So there are special backfire flame control devices which are recommended and required by law, state and federal law. Some of the things we talk to them about is pollution placards. We talk about keeping the environment clean. One of the things that we're now doing is encouraging paddlecraft safety as part of our vessel exam program. And that is very important, and that has become the newest thing in the Coast Guard Auxiliary, is to make sure that paddlecraft safety education is brought forth to the public. So we're working diligently with police and fire agencies, and also we have what we call the program visitors. We go to marinas, places like Walmart, where they'll sell a kayak, or any other place that supports equipment like Doc Freeman's, for instance, and we bring program information to them. We explain the program, and we give them a chance to ask questions, and we work with them to provide safety information on types of life jackets, especially Coast Guard approved ones, what types and how to fit them. And then we go out in the public and we go to different events and we promote boating safety along with children all the way up through adults. So it's a real positive influence, and it definitely saves lives. And I can give you an example. A month ago up at Lake Sawyer, I had done a vessel exam, and one of the recommendations was file a float plan, and that's where you call somebody or tell somebody who cares about you where you're going when you plan to come back. And usually you want to bring a cell phone with you. At least people know, you know, if they're not back in 2 hours, let's call for help. We had a bass boat, and we had recommended, you know, carry a 5-gallon bucket with you because you never know if you needed to bail. So these guys got in their beautiful bass boat and they went across the lake, but they've got to put the drain plug in. And so they got out to this little island right near it, and they're in about 20 feet of water, and it started taking on water. And the one man texted his wife. He said, "We're taking on water. Call the fire department. We're sinking." And then next thing you know, he was up to here in water, and they were trying to bail. And they had their life jackets on. They got to the island nearby, but they were hypothermic. And by the time the Black Diamond Marine Patrol got to them, they were calling an ambulance and treating them for hypothermia. So one of the things we cover too in our training is cold water boot camp and what hypothermia can do to people. So with that, any questions?
Any questions, council?
Okay. And again, I will leave this copy with your deputy clerk, and also give a form.
Thank you very much, Commander. Appreciate you being here. We'll disseminate that information and the recruitment information also. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next proclamation is regarding National Public Works Week. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure and services that are of vital importance to a sustainable and resilient community and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people. And whereas such infrastructure and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are responsible for building, maintaining, improving, and protecting our city's mobility network, piped utilities, solid waste systems, and other essential public works systems. And whereas it is in the public interest for the residents, leaders, and children to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in our community. And whereas the American Public Works Association has celebrated the annual National Public Works Week since 1960. And whereas thanks to these professionals, our streets, roads, bridges, and public transportation keeps us linked together, and our clean water and sanitation services keep us healthy and allow our community to grow and prosper. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim the week of May 21st through 27th, 2018, to be National Public Works Weeks in the City of Renton, and I encourage all residents to recognize the contribution public works professionals make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 21st day of May 2018, and this is signed by Mayor Dennis Law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move the proclamation be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So it's our pleasure to present this proclamation to our Public Works Administrator, Greg Zimmerman. Come on, Greg, get this right.
I didn't choreograph it well enough, sorry.
Only done it 20 times.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm Greg Zimmerman, Renton's Public Works Administrator. I want to thank you very much for recognizing National Public Works Week. In Renton, Public Works services include transportation services, the piped utilities, which is the water, wastewater, surface water system, our solid waste contract, managing that, the collection contract, and also fleet maintenance, and wouldn't want to forget the airport. I've had the honor myself of leading the Renton Public Works Department for coming on 25 years now, and I do say it's an honor. I feel honored to be able to have served in that capacity. We take care of things in Public Works that most of the time people, if they're not cursing it like the congestion in the streets, they're not thinking about it very much. And some things that people don't even want to think about. But the way I look at it, Public Works staff is really in the quality of life business. We take care of infrastructure needs that make people's lives better, and if they're not working or operating correctly, make the quality of life worse. So we're in the quality of life business. I can't express enough my appreciation for the Public Works staff for their 24/7 professionalism and their superior work ethic and quality of service that they provide. They've just made my job wonderful because of all the good things they do day in and day out. I want to thank you once again for this proclamation.
Okay, thank you very much, Greg. And I think I speak for the, well, I know I speak for the full council when I tell you how proud we are of the Public Works staff and the kinds of going that extra mile messages that we get from the public, from our Public Works employees is just really gratifying. So anyway, thank you very much.
And Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Mr. Corman.
Yeah, if I may, and I completely concur, and I think Mr. Zimmerman's just done a remarkable job running an amazing department. And it's been a pleasure serving, working with them for 24 years now. But I also just wanted to point out how much of the work, it's not just the hands-on work that your own department does, but having to interface with the county and the state and all the projects that go through Renton and making sure those all come out well. We just appreciate everything. It's a huge job.
Thank you so much, and the appreciation's mutual. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Next is a public hearing. Jan Hahn.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Tonight is a public hearing, the first public hearing for the preparation of the 2019 and 2020 budget. The state law requires that we have 3 of those, and this is the first, and this is in advance of any preparation of requests or by any of the departments. So this gives the public and any stakeholders the opportunity to give us some early input before we go off and develop the budget. And this is just one of the many methods that we do use to get public stakeholder input. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you. That's going to be the shortest public hearing that I think we've ever had. Do we have any correspondence?
We do not.
Okay. Any questions from council? There's nobody signed up to address the council. What's the
Mr.
wish?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that we close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Jan. That was dynamic. Moving on to administrative report, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I wanted to let the community know that you are invited to join us in honoring our veterans in a Memorial Day ceremony at Veterans Memorial Park on Monday, May 28th at 1 o'clock p.m. The program is coordinated by the VFW Post number 1263 and includes an invocation, presentation of colors, and a rendition of the national anthem. A ceremonial wreath honoring the 5 branches of military service will be laid at the memorial, and a ceremonial honor guard, playing of taps, and singing of patriotic song will conclude the ceremony. Parking is available for the ceremony at the 200 Mills Avenue building. Bring your kids, ages 5 to 14. They can fish from the dock at Jean Coulon Park at the Fishing Kids Derby on June 2nd from 9 to 11:30. Each child will receive a T-shirt and Zebco rod and reel, and you can register on the city's website by May 23rd. And lastly, drop off items that you may no longer need, or you can choose to find some that you may need at the Stop and Swap on June 2nd from 10 to 2 at Renton Memorial Stadium. Stop and Swap is a free event designed to divert quality goods from the waste stream and make them available to neighbors and nonprofits. You can find more information at the city's website at rentonwa.gov, Stop and Swap. That's all this evening.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Moving on to audience comments, we don't have anybody signed up, so we'll go to the consent agenda. Have 2 items for council consideration. Are there any item council member like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as published.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Prince.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Person.
No unfinished business.
Okay, Mr. McIrvin.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Pavoni.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Gee, did anybody work this week? Oh, Mr. Corman.
Yes, I did enough work for all of us, Mr. Mayor. We have 5, I think, Transportation Committee reports to present.
Okay, the first Transportation Committee report is regarding the supplemental agreement number 1 to CAG 17149 with Keep AG for the final design phase of the Williams Avenue South and Wells Avenue South conversion project. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute supplemental agreement number 1 to CAG 17149 with Keep AG Inc. in the amount of $728,636 for the Williams Avenue South and Wells Avenue South conversion project. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor, I move the council concur in this committee report.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Person, that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the second committee report is regarding the supplemental agreement number 4 to CAG 17082 with Petit Incorporated for the preparation of construction documents up to 60% design for the Park Avenue North Extension project. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute supplemental agreement number 4 to CAG 17082 with Petit Incorporated in the amount of $392,389 for the preparation of construction documents up to 60% design for the Park Avenue North Extension project. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
move the council concur in this committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Person, that council concur with this Transportation Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The third committee report is regarding an interlocal agreement with the Washington State Department of Transportation. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute interlocal agreement GCB 2890 with the Washington State Department of Transportation for the mitigation of impacts to Section 4F of city properties located along the WashDOT I-405 Renton to Bellevue project corridor, as well as execute a professional services agreement with OTAC Incorporated for preliminary design and permitting work for the Make Creek Trail project, as well as adopt the resolution authorizing interlocal agreement GCB 2890 with WashDOT. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Corman.
move the council concur in the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Pavoni, that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the fourth committee report is regarding temporary total closure of Northeast 31st Street. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to adopt the resolution to authorize the temporary total closure of Northeast 31st Street, starting from approximately 150 feet east of the intersection of Northeast 31st Street and Jones Avenue Northeast, and ending at approximately 50 feet west of the driveway at 2100 Northeast 31st Street for up to 120 calendar days between June 18th and December 31st, 2018, to construct the Northeast 31st Street Bridge Replacement Project. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Move the council concur in the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Person, that council concur with the Transportation Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, and the final committee report is regarding a temporary total closure of North 27th Place. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to adopt the resolution authorizing the temporary total closure of North 27th Place between 1140 North 27th Place and 1161 North 27th Place for up to 90 calendar days between June 18th and December 31st, 2018, to construct the North 21st Place Bridge Replacement Project. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Move the council concur in the committee report.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Person, that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, moving on to legislation. We have three resolutions this evening.
The first resolution is a resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an interlocal agreement with the Washington State Department of Transportation, WashDOT, for mitigation of impacts to Section 4F properties located along the WashDOT I-405 Renton to Bellevue project corridor.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I move adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Person, that this resolution be adopted.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
If I could speak to the resolution really quickly.
You sure can.
Yeah, I would just like to say, and this is sort of a follow-up to a briefing that we received in Transportation Committee. This agreement will actually extend the May Creek Trail underneath 405. So it's a huge gain for the city. Prior to this agreement, we had explored, as a city, we'd explored ways to get that trail to actually go under 405, and it was difficult working with the state. They didn't really want to do it. Because of the widening and then the need for mitigation, your staff was able to negotiate that the state will actually build that trail segment for us, and I just want to commend you and the staff that worked on that agreement.
Thank you.
With that,
Okay.
I wanted to speak on behalf of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Corman. All those in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The next resolution is a resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the temporary total closure of Northeast 31st Street between 2100 Northeast 31st Street and 3133 Jones Avenue Northeast.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Corman.
move adoption of the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Person, that this resolution be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, the final resolution is a resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the temporary total closure of North 27th Place between 1140 North 27th Place and 1161 North 27th Place.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
I
Corman.
move adoption of the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Person, that this resolution be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Megan. Moving on to new business, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, May 28th, we have no council meetings for Memorial Day. However, on Monday, June 4th, we're back at it, 5:30 PM. Committee of the Whole will be meeting. We have one item on the agenda in council chambers, and it's the Citizen Advisory Committee for Parks, Trails, and Community Facilities Report. And that is all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Person?
No new business.
Okay, Mr. McIrvin?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, would like to announce that the Planning and Development Committee will be meeting at 4 PM in the council conference room on Thursday, May 24th. Just one item on the agenda, multifamily tax exemptions. And then I would also like to announce for Chair Witchy that the Utilities Committee that would have occurred immediately prior to that has been canceled.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Community Service Committee that would have occurred on Monday, June 4th, has been canceled.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and Mr. Corman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just announced that the Transportation Committee meeting that would have occurred on June 4th has also been canceled. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Is this just because you put in a full?
Yeah, because we worked ahead.
I see, okay. All right, what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Pavoni, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.